Moving to Dallas, they blew out the New York Jets. I mean, it was ugly, America. 30-10. Turned Zach Wilson over about 4 times. Dak Prescott, 31 of 37, if I'm not mistaken, 255 and 2 touchdowns. No picks. It was better than that pass that Joy just made off camera.
Clear it. It was like a shot put.
Yeah, Joy, you might need to explain yourself.
That joint like Justin Fields.
It wasn't the best work. It was not. It wasn't Zach Wilson's best work.
Fields.
It was not either. What a show we got. All right, y'all know this is fun. Y'all could be watching any show. You're hanging with us. We appreciate it more than you know. James Jones, I'm watching the Cowboys, and I'm thinking to myself, this Cowboys team is better than any Cowboys team I have ever seen. I was born and raised in Dallas, and obviously I really started keeping up with the Cowboys after the turn of the century. Played against the Cowboys 13, 14, 15. Retired from the NFL in 2016. Started working for the Cowboys, one Frisco way out in Frisco at the Star, 16 and 17. I saw the Cowboys be 13 and 3 in 2016, and that 2016 team cannot touch.
No.
That cannot tie the sandal of this 2023 team. This Cowboys team is elite.
Yeah.
If I've ever seen a Super Bowl team, this is what one looks like. Defense.
Ooh.
Dominating. 70-10 combined scores first 2 weeks. Offense, not turning the ball over. Special teams being special. There's no better team in football, in my mind, than this Cowboys team. What say you?
No, you said it right. The Dallas Cowboys is the best team in football. And I know we're talking 2 weeks, and I know everybody like, hold up, JJ, what you talking about? We know what the Dallas Cowboys do when the season get later in the season and in the playoffs. But right now, what the Dallas Cowboys have shown the world with everybody's 2 eyes, Shady, they are the best team in football right now. They're dominating on the defensive side of the ball.
Right.
I know everybody wants to see this offense score more points and all that. You talking about 31, 38, 250. But the biggest number is 0
No picks.
turnovers
No picks.
in 2 football games. We got to start putting respect on Coach Mike's name. He took this thing over and said, you know what, Kellen Moore, you're taking too many shot plays. You're putting Dak in bad situations. You're too aggressive. I'm going to slow this thing down. I'm going to run the ball. If you look at them running the ball, it is an even balance with them running the football, which means, hey, Dak, we have a really good defense. Let's run the ball and let's take what's there. And Dak Prescott is playing smart. So for me, with what the Dallas Cowboys are showing right now, they are easily the best team in football. They got it going, and you're right. This looked like Super Bowl for the Dallas Cowboys. And I know it's only week 2.
That's what they look like.
If you're a Cowboys fan, you got to be excited.
Oh, of course. Of course. We are fully in the We Dem Boys cycle part of the Cowboys year. We Dem Boys. That's it has begun.
We Dem Boys.
This is the part of the cycle that we're in.
Yeah.
The Cowboys are very good. I gotta say, I'm not surprised at what I'm seeing. This is what I expected the Cowboys to look like. I am surprised at the no turnovers because that was obviously a big question of what that was going to look like. We didn't really know what Mike McCarthy's offense is going to look like. What I like about the offense is that they're spreading it around. It doesn't feel like it has to be one player making a play. Obviously, CD is contributing at a high level, but it feels very balanced. They're spreading it around. Doesn't feel like anything is forced. They look like a divisional round playoff team.
That's how you finishing it?
We'll revisit that. We will.
It's been 28 years.
We will revisit that. Shady, you know the Cowboys as good as anybody on
Very
TV.
well.
You know them well. You played against them for years after years after years. Won a lot of games against them. You lost a couple games against them. How good are these Cowboys? Not those Cowboys, these Cowboys.
They look really, really good, I got to be honest. I mean, watching this team play on defense, they look super fast. They look faster than anybody I've ever seen on defense. Like sideline to sideline, from the D-line all the way to linebackers to the safeties to the cornerbacks. They look fast. They look explosive. They look aggressive. Getting after the quarterback, not even sending a lot of even pressures. There's different mixtures of stunts, the D-lines, and they're getting home. They're going to be hard to beat.
Yeah.
You know, overall, I think they're one of the best teams in the league. I feel like that last year, even with more talent this year, I think they moved up a slot or two. But my only question with the Cowboys is, what happens when there's some real pressure? Now, granted, you played the Giants. You beat the heck out of them. I know they would win that game, but not like that.
Yeah.
And the Jets. Jets, really good defensive team. Not really none on offense, no real quarterback, and it showed. But what happens when they play a team where the defense just has a bad day? It happens in football. Some of the best offenses have bad days. It happens. And Parsons are doing a good job of trying to, take Parsons out the game. And the offense has a good strategy. Then what happens? Then what happens when they put up 7 or 14 or 21 points on this defense? And you need Dak Prescott to not be a game manager. I think when you talked about McCarthy, we all can say, right, safely that the offense has been super conservative.
Yeah.
Or am I tripping about saying that?
Nope.
They playing with leads, though.
Okay, so playing super conservative, because one thing I learned by watching the Cowboys is that the Cowboys in the NFL, they have the best starting field position from any other team in the NFL.
Yep.
That means the defense are getting turnovers and they're starting in their own red zone, things like that. But what happens if that doesn't happen? We're not getting turnovers, and this is a good game, playing against a good offense that's coached very well, don't turn the ball over. Then what happens? Because if you watch the games, they're in the red zone. There were 6 times in the red zone. Yeah. They were 2 for 6. 2 touchdowns, 14 points, right? You said it was 30 to, what was the score? 31?
30-10.
Okay. So 2 points, that's 14 points. Everything else is field goals, field goals, field goals.
Yeah.
What happens if field goals are not enough? What happens when we need Dak Prescott to go out there and throw the ball?
Yeah.
And because if you watch the game, if Sauve Gardner catches that horrible pass, and I'm not being critical of Dak because he's playing very well. I'm just speaking of the game, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not coming at Dak. I'm just speaking about the game. If he catches that pick, that's a pick 6. Do we all agree with that?
Sure.
The game is different. Now, if that happens against a good quarterback, things are different. So before I jump on the Cowboy bandwagon,
Of course, you should.
I will say
Don't
this:
rush.
they
Don't
look good.
Look good.
I just got to see the same thing on defense. Same thing off.
Shady,
That's all.
you called me before the Sunday night game and we wrapped real quick. We was talking about the Cowboys. Shady asked the same question. He was like, hey, Acho, but what happens when they play one of those great offenses?
What happens?
That's a great question.
Okay.
But then I went back to 2-5 and I said, but Shady, I don't know that I see in this day and age a 2013 Broncos offense. Yeah. I don't know that I see that. I don't know that I see a 2007 Patriots offense. I don't know that I see that. The best offenses in football, to me, are the San Francisco 49ers. I love the Niners. Y'all know that. They can be limited. Best offenses in football, Philadelphia Eagles. I love the Eagles. Through the first 2 weeks, they don't look that great. The Miami Dolphins. I love me the Miami Dolphins, but we have seen last year when the Dolphins played the Niners, when the Dolphins played the Chargers, they can be mixed and matched and limited and all these things. You bring up a great point, but it's the same thing I asked myself when I saw you carrying the ball every which way. What happens when Shady fumbles? But you just didn't fumble. So you could get away with carrying the ball this way and that way because we're hypothesizing a situation that might not actually exist.
You can't use me. I've been running that way since I was in the league. And you're talking about 10, 12 years of the same in the same results, no fumbles. But the Chiefs, right? Chiefs haven't been great lately. Yeah. What happens when they kind of settle down? And Travis Kelce's in the mix. Okay, cool. And Patrick Mahomes in the mix and cool. Then what? Because the way you guys are talking about the Cowboys is a Super Bowl type of team. Yeah. Which they really do. Yeah. This is the first year I can say this. The Dallas Cowboys, they have a Super Bowl type of team. They really do. So now when they Super Bowl, the Chiefs play the Cowboys, you might have that offense like that. But then what?
This is what I will say, though. Mike is doing a really good job right now because the defense is playing at a high level.
Yes,
the
they are.
defense is giving the offense short fields. So there's no need to be aggressive. But when it does happen to where, okay, the defense ain't getting off the football field, the defense is giving up some points, we have to be aggressive. That's why they have all the pieces on the offensive side of the ball to be aggressive. That's why you go get Brandon Cooks. That's why you got CeeDee Lamb. That's why you got Gallup. That's why you can run the football. So I do believe this Cowboys team, when it's time to be aggressive, they can go down here and be aggressive and score some points. Right now, there ain't no need to, Shady.
And you think it's that? Now, hold up. Now, listen what you just said. So it's that easy, though.
Well, it's all about
turn
it's just
you hear him, no, Joy? You can turn
it's just different play calling.
You mentioned a bunch of players not named the quarterback, though.
I'm just saying what the quarterback has, though.
Right, but that's been the problem. Like, I push this Cowboys team is extremely talented.
Yes, they are.
It's great. I push back on the idea that this is the first time they've had a Super Bowl caliber roster.
I agree.
They had a Super Bowl caliber roster last year.
But they ain't look like this.
It's been 2 games.
They ain't look like this.
Against Daniel Jones and
Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson.
I'm not diminishing it. I'm just saying they've had a Super Bowl roster before. It's a little bit better this year, but it was good last year. It was good enough to win a Super Bowl last year. Everyone can agree with that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I agree with James. They didn't look like this.
No.
But that doesn't take away from Joy's point.
But if Dak takes the ball up at San Fran, they should be in the Super Bowl. Would you? Or
they should play the Eagles. They play the Eagles. Yeah.
That's why I said that they are a divisional round playoff team. And until they pass that with my own eyes, then I will believe that because I know that they're a playoff team. I knew their defense was going to be unbelievable. Their defense was unbelievable last year, and their defense did their job in the playoff game that they needed to win against the Niners. The defense did what they needed to do. Held them to 20 points. What more can you ask for?
I guess this to me, and again, now we're kind of parsing the nuances of it all, because you're exactly right. Defense was really good last year. Cowboys were good last year. But when I look at this defense, and maybe it's just because I'm biased, I have a very, very critical eye for defense, mainly because I had to watch a lot of defense because I wasn't always on the field, so I had to present the scouting reports for the starters. This defense is just different. I need to wait till week 5 when the Cowboys play the Niners, because the Cowboys play the Cardinals next, they play the Patriots next. We're not going to learn much.
Yeah.
But last year, I would have said the Cowboys were the 3rd best defense in football. Niners were the best, and after the Ravens acquired Roquan Smith, I would have said the Ravens were the 2nd best. And statistically, that would support that. This year, right now, the Cowboys are the best defense in my mind in football. They've just gotten better.
They look good.
And I will say, to Joy's point, to 2-5's point, if the Cowboys' weakest link is Dak Prescott, at this point, you have to take that weak link.
No doubt.
Like, and maybe it's hyperbole. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic, America, but if the Cowboys' weakest link is a person who has gotten an MVP vote, a person who has been a Pro Bowler, I believe, 3 times, a person who's never had a losing record as a starter. Now, he does fall short in the playoffs. I will tell you that. I won't lie. But if that's your weakest link,
I get you.
You gotta take it.
And all that stuff is old. So we talking about right now. And so you rank the Dallas Cowboys, you guys both do, right?
Best team in football. Yeah. After 2 weeks.
Let's go to defense. Best defense in football.
Right now.
Would you agree with that too? So all 3 of y'all say that. Where do you rank this offense? I'm asking questions. I'm here asking questions, guys.
Well, I mean, if we're out random, I would rank them as a top 10 offense right now with what they have, the weapons
Top
that
10
they
offense?
have. They have
No, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
I'm not asking about names on papers. I'm not asking about that.
I would say this is the top 10 offense.
From watching them play, right?
Yeah.
These last 2 weeks, you put them in your top 10 offense?
I would.
Yeah.
Top 10 offense?
I wouldn't. But I would say not applicable, right?
Yeah.
I would say not applicable. I'd say I can't gauge it because the games have been so.
That's why it's hard to say what they really are. Because I don't really like to play the opponent game, but I don't also like to ignore the opponent game.
Right.
They just played Zach Wilson, who just found out he was a starter.
Correct.
4 plays into the last game and was written off.
Yep.
It's not a great situation. And even as good as that. Josh Allen has something to do with that.
I know that, but I'm just saying that's the Jets' defense, and they didn't make the Cowboys' offense look like that.
But the game, it's different. Like, that Jets defense was on the field all day. They couldn't be themselves. They played the whole game.
But it does. I'm so torn
Cowboys
because
is winning in dominant fashion.
They are. But my last question with the offense. So you guys said top 10, and you said
I can't judge it. It's not applicable.
What makes him a top 10 offense? I'm just asking. For these last 2 weeks. What just makes him top 10 offense?
Well, I'm just saying, Shady, the way they're winning football games dominant, there's no need to be aggressive on offense. Why am I calling shot plays if I'm up 20? Right? Let's be smart. Let's run the football. Let's play action. So there's no need. Okay. So once this offense has to open it up and be explosive, and Coach Mike got to say, okay, I can't run the ball. The defense is struggling. We got to open this thing up and put the ball into Dak Prescott's hands. They have the people around him to do that.
They have the pieces.
I just disagree. As an offensive coach, we're gonna run our offense.
I know you.
We're gonna run our offense, right? Whatever our offense is, if it's taking shots, if it's not, we're gonna run our offense. You telling me that we're not gonna run our offense because the defense is playing so great? So if the defense ever has a bad day, we're gonna change our offense now?
Shady, what I'm saying is,
what you're saying?
Yes, you call the game different. Shady, if you're up 20 points, why am I dialing up shot plays?
Well, what about
this game different?
When the game is 0-0. That's my question to you is the game is 0-0. I'm going to have my offense. You're telling me that you're going to change it because of
this offense scored 30 points.
What about this thought?
They scored 30.
What about, James, this thought? The fact is the Cowboys' offense hasn't been prolific. I don't think they've had to be prolific.
Exactly.
But the biggest thing is, and we've talked about this ad nauseum, Dak Prescott and the Cowboys, one of 5 teams with no turnovers. I think that's the most important offensive statistic that we can focus on.
I got a question.
If I ask you how many passes was over 20 yards this last game, now you don't have to be super dynamic to throw the ball down the field here and there. Everything has been short on my line. Everything has been running the ball and everything's short. So what happens when we need you to play when we need you? I guess play, like in your words, to play the real offense. This is the fake offense because the defense is playing so well.
This is the real offense. You just don't have to be that aggressive when we winning. They scored 30. They scored 30.
No. They had 14 points. They scored 14 points.
Scored 30.
And no field goals. That matters.
It's 30.
We'll get to this later on in the show.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.